Hello from Between Us, Mother-Daughter Unfiltered. I'm Zeynep.
And I'm Tara Khaleesi.
And we're here today with our last episode of 2025. It's not only video, but also
It's going to be unedited.
so we're going to be raw and unfiltered this time. I personally wanted to do this episode because I wanted to touch on the subject of grief. It's been a very hard month for me and my family. I lost my father December 2nd. He was my anchor, my best friend. Although I lived here and my parents live in Turkey, my mom does now, since 1997, year I came here. I heard my dad's voice every day, and it's been one of the hardest things to not have in your life, especially if you love someone so much and deeply, and not being there in person was one of the most difficult things to deal with. And it's life, and we all deal with grief in our own terms and in our own ways. But I know for my immigrant sisters and brothers, especially when your parent dies, you can't be there. It hits you a little differently. So, but that doesn't mean see, I wasn't gonna cry. There you go. So I'm just gonna ask you how your month was in December. So you tell us from your end while I can just calm down a little. Go ahead.
So it was rough. It was very hard to deal with. I would say by far the first week, the 2nd to the 9th, was really, really hard because I know Mama called them every day, my grandparents, and I would talk to them too because I'd be in my room.
You talk to them almost every weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, FaceTime.
I talked to them and saw them a lot, and just realizing I won't be able to anymore, it really hit me like a hurricane. It all crashed on me when I heard the news. I don't
and words for it.
Yeah, no amount, and we knew that it was going, obviously, everybody dies, but no amount of preparing could have prepared us for what happened.
Yeah.
What was to come. It was really rough, and I just needed my friends and family too. We went up to Jersey to see family and Philly as well, and
because she is
Turkish and Philly. But we just needed that support.
More so the hugs for me. I just needed hugs. And it's been tough. And the 3rd of December, the next day, I just saw you come out of your room. You looked defeated. And obviously, we gave her the option, hey, you can stay home. It's totally fine. However you want to deal with it. If you want to go to school and you realize, hey, I can't be here, we'll come pick you up. And she chose to go because she had 2 tests. Yes. And but she's a great student and very responsible, so she chose to go, and she did. So that's that. And she stayed all day long. And did you go to your basketball practice too that
I
day?
did.
Yeah, she even stayed for the practice. Her coach hugged her, and we just it was a different experience than I thought it would be, because I'm a highly functional ADHD person, when I feel depressed or sad, I want my space. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me for a little bit. Give me my space. I will come out of it, but I need some Zeynep time. And knowing how my brain normally works, I assumed this is how I would react. Grief hits you differently than anything else. All I wanted was hugs from my chosen sisters. I have one brother and he's in Turkey, unfortunately. He's far away and I didn't go. The funeral was the next day because of my father's religion. It had to be quick and there was no time for me to make it. So, and after that, for other health reasons, I couldn't go. I decided to stay and therefore I never got to hug my brother, but I have my chosen brothers and sisters up north and I got to hug them. So I literally booked my flight just for one day, just to show up and get my hugs from them. So it's been it's been a trip. Um, but one thing in this tiny episode, I wanted to touch on grief because there were days when Tara Khaleesi was at school, I collapsed. And Tom was here for me and with me, but never once with her in the room. And this was by choice. This didn't mean that we didn't cry together. We hugged and cried many, many times. We still do. We laughed together when we remembered something funny my dad would say or do, or some past memory that was, hysterical. And then we started crying again. But I made sure that the pain stops with me. So she had her pain that I let her process in her own ways. And her friends have been very supportive, her teachers as well. But she didn't carry my pain. And that was very important for me. It's the holiday season, of course. It was extra hard to show up. But I must say I'm proud that I was able to show up at your basketball game that week. I you should have seen me. Usually I'm sitting in the front and yelling and screaming.
Bro went incognito.
Say it again louder.
Bro went incognito.
So yes, I had these giant sunglasses, yes, inside the court. And because I've been crying the whole week. This was what day? Thursday or Friday?
I think Friday. Yeah,
Friday. Okay. Yeah, Tuesday my father passed. That morning I lied to you because Tara Khaleesi comes and kisses me every morning before, if I'm not driving her. And I said, no, don't come because I've been crying. Obviously, I heard the news at 2:30 a.m.
And it's like
6:30, 7.
6:30.
I'm not going to do it. You? Okay, back to So I said, no, don't come because I think I'm getting sick because I'm just all red. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't think so. I'm sorry if I missed your game that night, which I did. But Friday, I've been crying all week and my eyes were swollen and purple underneath. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to her game. I'm going to show, even though if I'm not yelling, screaming like I normally do. I had the glasses. I put my hair, I think, up.
Yeah, you had a hat on.
Oh, I had a hat on top of the glasses, yes. And I went all the way up top the bleachers, and I'm just like, she's out the corner. She's like, I'm like watching and recording, and your beautiful friends. So I'm hiding. My beautiful girls. They're like, oh, hi, Miss Zeynep. And I'm like, oh. And of course, I'm like, hi, guys. And they come up. They're like, we're just gonna sit with you because you look so lonely. How sometimes universe aligns things in a way and hands you a gift. And they were my gift that night because I was choosing to be alone, obviously. I wanted to be alone, but they were so adorable. In between cheer practice, they would come up to me and they're like, "We're just gonna sit with you. You look so lonely." And then they would go, they would come back. It was just the biggest gift. I didn't even get to tell them yet, but they're gonna find out here. So thank you guys. You made my night that night, and I love you. So yes, ADHD again. What I was talking about, I'm gonna remember, and I do remember, is showing up for you.
Mhm.
That was probably one of the toughest ones. And the other tough day was your orchestra concert.
Yeah.
That was my dad's birthday, December 12th. And see, I wasn't supposed to cry here. um, I thought my crying was done. Um, he was turning 75. So that was a tough day, but I am glad I showed up and listened to you play violin. It was beautiful. So, yeah, that was important for me. And some of my friends told me, of course, you love Tara, and still, it's okay to be broken and cry and all that stuff. But I think what people didn't necessarily realize is I've been crying in front of you and with you, but I didn't need to collapse in front of her. That was a difference.
Yeah.
That I don't believe children should carry their parents' weight. That's called parentification in psychology. And so I really have been raising you with that in the front of my mind. And it, I truly had the hardest month of my life. And I was proud as a mom that I showed up.
As you should be. You did amazing.
Thank you. And she did amazing being there for me, letting me cry. You never once said, "Don't cry." You just say, "It's okay," hugging me. "It's okay, mama. You just cry, let it out." And I appreciated it so much because I just needed to let it out. And my girl was there for me. So that was our month. And I wanted to go over this a little bit because you never know who's dealing with what. And maybe there are people who are dealing with grief and they're not ready to announce it like I wasn't. Um, you're not alone. And sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers if you ever feel like talking or just messaging. You know what? We can even call you and you can cry and we'll just sit there with you.
Mhm. And this will stay
Between us.
between us.
So don't hesitate because the worst thing that you can feel when you're grieving or when you're having a bad time is feeling lonely. So
Mhm.
we want you to know that you're not alone. Okay.
Yes.
That being said, I also want to tell you this, something we didn't talk about before, but I want to start 2026 strong and happy and healthy. And 2025, close the chapter there.
Mhm.
This doesn't mean that we're not going to grieve anymore. We wish. I wish. This doesn't mean that we forget about dedesi, and dedesi is grandpa in Turkish. This doesn't mean that we're not going to cry. Of course we are. And of course, we're always going to have him in our hearts. But life goes on, and we have listeners, and we have responsibilities, and I will show up for you there too. And I will be strong and hardworking as I am always. So, and unfiltered. That's my problem a little bit sometimes, too unfiltered, but so
It's
just because we're doing that, I don't want you to feel guilty. Because I know you mentioned once you didn't know laughing was okay that week at school. And it is okay. We, it is okay to laugh. It doesn't mean that you love Deresi any less or you didn't love him. It doesn't mean any of that. This is life. So it's a part of life. We're going to grieve. God knows how long. I don't think mine is ever going to end because he was my dad.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But that doesn't mean that I can't laugh with you. And that doesn't mean that we stop everything that we're doing. So I want to start a strong 2026 for my daughter and with my daughter and my husband too. And I just want you to know that. So don't feel guilty when you laugh. Dedesi wanted you to laugh. He would want you to laugh. He still wants you to laugh. I don't know where he is, but I know he's in a place that he wanted to be, and he's happy and he's peaceful. I feel it. So, all right, guys. So I know this was a lot and emotional, but this was us in the month of December 2025. And we're ready to retire this year. And we're ready to start a new year happy and healthy and strong and
powerful.
That's what we are. So we thank you
So much.
for making this an amazing success already. And we can't wait to give you more. You guys have a nice New Year's Eve and a wonderful New Year's. Happy New Year. See you all in
2026. We love you.
Love you.
And remember, stay unfiltered. Yo, we ate that, man.
We ate
No.
down. No? Okay. But we did eat down.
We did.
Awesome. Who's going to turn it off?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Shucks.
Okay.